All right. Yes. Hey, I'm DTF with the sex machine. Hey, we're going to DP you, but give us 30 seconds. Yes! Oh, man. Hey, listen. You got Dan. You got Mike. Hey, we're going to go ahead and give you a double dip of Friday night here. And, you know, it's real easy, Mike. It's real easy because, you know, it's always easy to do a show when you have a Chiefs victory. Oh, man. What a great game.
Oh.
What a great game. For those of you who didn't watch, oh, man, it was one. You know what? The number one thing that really stood out, and, you know, it's a kind of a hard thing to praise the opposing team, but what a gutsy performance by Herbert.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
What a gutsy performance by Herbert.
That kid, I don't want him to ever win against the Chiefs, but he has a new fan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for those of you who don't know, he has a rib cartilage injury, toughed it out. Really A-plus performance, one for the ages. I mean,
Yeah.
It was in a loss. Not on Mahomes' level, but, I mean, this is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And, man, what a gutsy performance. For those of you that aren't familiar with you know, rib cartilage injuries. When you throw the football, now you watch Patrick Mahomes, you're a Chiefs fan, you see all the crazy arm angles, and you don't think about, but you really throw a lot from what's called your trunk. You know, the throwing motions, it's a whole body thing. So rib cartilage injury, this is going to be a lingering all season issue. This isn't something that's just going to, you know, be good after a week or two.
No, that extra 10 days between games, man, getting that extra longer week, that is going to benefit him. But gutsy went back out there. I thought we were going to get a Chase Daniel show.
I did too.
You know, which we all love here. Played at MU, was a Chief. But yeah, kudos to Herbert. Man, that kid's tough. Yeah, gutsy performance. A lot to talk about the game. A lot to talk about Amazon doing their first broadcast, and it looked like it. So yeah,
you know, I didn't have too much. Now I DVR'd it on YouTube TV. There was a kind of a no problem on my end. I wasn't fond of the Curb Street Michaels. They just didn't seem to have good chemistry. I by the way, for those of you, I'm a big Al Michaels fan. Just phenomenal, phenomenal. And Kirk Herbstreit, if you watch him do college, A+ job.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's been doing it forever. Is hugely popular.
They did not seem in sync at all, though. They seemed like they didn't really work together. It just not the best performance, my personal opinion. But both announcers I'm big fans of.
Yeah, they're both great announcers on their own. But Herbstreit didn't know that was as familiar with the players.
No,
he had a lot of mistakes. He just seemed to they seem to be on a different page. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I love Fitzmagic. Always wanted him to be part of the Chiefs. His legend as a backup. He's got a lot of work to do as a broadcaster. I like him. I like his personality. I like his sense of humor. He's got a lot of work to go. Richard Sherman was excellent.
Love Richard
Gonzalez,
Sherman.
He's been doing it for years. No brainer for him. The host, not familiar with her. She was all right.
They do this where they get these, you know, attractive women, and they're doing more of this. They're doing this a lot in sports betting, where they get these attractive women that are now, you know, hey, subscribe here, and you know they're wearing interesting
Gifted
outfits. Yes, perfect,
and displaying
perfect.
His gifts.
Exactly. So you get a lot of that, and anytime a gambling site that sends me something. Now, keep in mind, I've sent out a lot of emails to a lot of gambling sites so I can get some information. But anytime I got one that promotes, there was one that was on social media promoting enhanced backsides of a couple of girls, and I was like, okay, well, I see what you're doing here. I'm gonna pass. So Funk, man, what's up, brother, man?
Oh,
hey,
Funk,
hey,
yeah.
Funk.
Hey, Funk.
Listen, man, we're going to talk a little bit of Lions in Washington, a little bit of Lions, Washington. Spoiler alert, we just got the notice Ragnow is out. That's a big loss here. I want to know what you think. I'm going to let you know how I think. Texans beat the Broncos week 2. Man, Alex, man, it's great to see you, brother, man. I got money on the Texans over 3.5, over 4.5, and over 5.5 wins. But that's a tall order, man. You really think so? Oh, but one thing I will say is Denver's coming off a short week. So,
and they want to make up for that embarrassment. So they got a lot to ride on this. They're already behind in the division.
They're already behind in the division. I mean, technically they're 2 games behind. Or actually, it'd be 1.5.
1.5 right now.
1.5 right now.
Them and the Raiders.
Yeah. So they got a lot of ground to make up on. If they get down by 2 games after the first 2 weeks, it could get ugly.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I've been saying this all off season, that Broncos fans are going to be disappointed. This isn't what you guys think that you're getting. You think that you're getting something. You think you're getting a guy who's just going to come in, revolutionize your team. You have a brand new head coach. You have a new offensive system. It's going to take some time for things to develop. You're going to go ahead and also take a step back defensively. A lot of Broncos fans thought, hey, we have a top 5 defense. Well, you know what? You lose your defensive-minded head coach who's been in the NFL for like 45 years.
Oh, yeah, Fangio, yeah.
Fangio's been in the league for a long time. So you take Fangio away, you're replacing him with a brand-new first-time defensive coordinator, a brand-new first-time head coach. There's going to be some learning curve. There's going to be some, we're going to have, some – it's going to take some time. A lot of people in Denver thought, hey, we're going to have a Super Bowl team. And I tried telling you, it may take a year. I really would not be surprised to see Denver finish last in this division. But with, I think this injury with Herbert's going to linger. I think it's going to linger. All right. Justin Britt not playing versus the Broncos, may retire tonight. That's wow. I didn't know about this, Alex. That's I wouldn't be betting on this if with this. But ladies and gentlemen, we have the sex machine in the house. Yes.
Oh, Gator,
what's up, brother, man? By the way, if you haven't already, me and Denver Gator released the video last night. We went ahead. Denver Gator gave his 3 picks. I gave my 1 pick that I haven't made yet. If you watch the video, I'll go over that in a little more detail and go over all the games. But I watch the video. It's a good video. I should put the link below. I messed up mine.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe down our starting center, left guard and right guard, and our backup right guard is out. We're a little fucked. I think I heard that Allen is banged up, so maybe they don't get golf killed. Yeah, and I was originally kind of looking at Detroit, but with all those offensive line issues, I'm definitely leaning towards Washington here. I might actually put action on that one. I haven't yet. I haven't actually made any bets yet because there was one game, if you watch my bet video, that I am going to put action on. I'm still waiting. And I'll go over all the games in detail here. But, with all the offensive line injuries in Detroit, man, and Allen is banged up. Drawing a blank here. Drawing a blank on who you're referring to. Broncos are missing one of their top wide receivers and a few defensive players after last week. Looking how both teams played, I don't think saying Houston can end out Denver is an overstatement. I actually would, and the reason why I would say that is because you're playing in Denver is one of those real home field advantages. If you've never been there, the high altitude is a real thing. I mean, it's hard to breathe up there. It's a different type of atmosphere. Denver, I think, also is really wanting to make up for this. I wouldn't. Any given Sunday. But I mean, picking Houston to win when you're a 10-point dog. I mean, Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know Chase Young's out. Oh, Jonathan Allen. Okay, I'm sorry. And I saw that he's questionable, so I think he is going to play. This would be a big blow, and it would kind of even things out. But I do like. I'm going to be honest with you, Funk. I like Washington here. You have that many injuries on the offensive line.
That's tough to overcome.
It's very tough to overcome. Washington's defense not very good, but folks going to hate, and Houston going to show up week after week. Well, hey man, look, I got $1,000 on Houston winning this year. I got over 3.5 wins. I got over 4.5 wins, and I got over 5.5 wins. So you definitely don't have a hater from me. I was very excited when I saw that they looked like they're going to beat Indianapolis. So there's no hate, but going up to Denver and winning outright when you're a 10-point dog, that's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask. You got a head coach that was embarrassed last week. Mm-hmm. He's really going to be, okay, I want to do this. No, we're not doing that. Okay, you guys do what you want. He's already on the hot seat. So he's going to be really fighting hard for that win.
And I agree completely. This is one of those, to be honest with you, if Denver won this game, I would be a lot more leaning towards Houston, but coming off of a loss, this may be one of those games where they get really focused. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, both of us are pulling for Houston, right?
Yeah, well, of course. If it's against the AFC West, by all means.
So I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna kind of just rapid fire through the games here, and then we're gonna answer all your questions. Carolina at New York. Is this a game that you can generate any excitement for?
No, I mean, I don't get into New York teams ever. The Giants, I like a little better than the Jets, which isn't saying much because I don't care at all about the Jets after Joe Namath. Don't care. I was a Tiki Barber fan for a while. I really like Tiki
Barber. Yeah, I like Tiki Barber.
But that's a tough one. Baker played well in week 1. Oh, what is with the first part of this season? All these games are just.
Oh yeah. And you know what the weirdest thing is that one of these teams is going to be 2-0.
Right.
One of these teams is going to be 2. These are 2 bad teams, Mike.
They're at Giants. I'm gonna have to go for the home team.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. These are not good teams here, and one of these teams is going to be undefeated. One of these teams is going to be 2-0, and to me, that's the fun part about it. But one of these teams is going to be 2-0. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thibodeau, I think, is going to play. I'm with Mike. I would take New York, but this is a game that I cannot get excited about at all.
There's nothing.
I'm wondering because I have YouTube TV. I don't know what you have.
That's what I have.
Okay, so last week the early game was Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. I got action on. Yeah, really good game. And then the other one was San Francisco-Chicago, which I would, I didn't even watch it.
No,
I didn't even watch it.
And you know why?
Why is that?
YouTube TV, and this makes me mad because you have to use a streaming device.
Mm-hmm.
There's no channel flip button. You can't do that back channel and channel surf that way and watch both games.
And if you use the DVR like I do, there was all sorts of issues. So like if you flip back and forth, a lot of times it'll reset.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I ended up, I was like, I'm going to watch this game later. And then I saw Chicago won at 19-10 snooze fest in a monsoon. I'm like, there's nothing I really need to watch here. So I didn't even go back. So I'm wondering for the early game what we're going to watch. I haven't even looked.
I don't know. I don't know who we're getting.
I'm kind of thinking we're probably going to get New England at Pittsburgh.
I'd take that. Pittsburgh was interesting.
Yeah. And hey, look, I thought Pittsburgh was going to win outright. It was my one game that I bet on that I hit on was Pittsburgh. And it was funny because when the game went into overtime, that's when they switched over to the Chiefs-Cardinals game. So
partway through that because nobody could get a win in that. And what's interesting, Trubisky coming out, if you watch him in Chicago, he can make a lot of those Mahomes style throws. The kid's got talent. I don't know why it hasn't all come together, especially with Nagy there.
I wondered. I really thought that Nagy kind of mismanaged the kid.
That's the only thing I can think of, because the kid's got the talent.
He's got talent. If you didn't watch that game, I kind of recapped this on Wednesday. But really, Pittsburgh really could have won this game in regulation. They were up 20-14, minute 30 left. Cincinnati had 2 timeouts, and they throw the ball. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, if I had hair, I'd be pulling it out. Like, what are you thinking? Because I'm doing the math in my head. You do 2 running plays, you get to 2 timeouts, right? So then you're almost at 125.
Right, yeah.
You take a knee, you punt the ball, you get the ball back with what, 5 seconds, 7 seconds?
Right, very little time.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't. Man, I couldn't understand what you were thinking throwing the ball. And you know what? Cincinnati does not have a stout run defense.
No.
I know Najee Harris was a little banged up, but why you wouldn't run the ball, 3 straight times, use those timeouts, and then you have to bank on Minkah Fitzpatrick blocking an extra point. Really, really exciting game. Really exciting game.
It was fun.
Funk says even if Allen is out or noticeable slowed, Evan Brown might be okay. Even Brown could start on a few teams. I have a little faith in him, but the guards are the issue. I mean, look, you're missing 3 starters on the offensive line. So
that's Chargers-esque.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a tough one, man. Like I said, I know Ragnow. Ragnow's probably your best offensive lineman this year. Now, keep in mind. Who your right tackle, the number 6 pick, and I'm 16 minutes in already. I had a name freeze here. Your right tackle.
I can't remember.
Number 6 pick in the draft. Oregon kid. Panay Sewell. Yeah. You may say I think Ragnow right now today is better. So you lose your best offensive line. Now their 2nd round pick, Washington's 2nd round pick, who was kind of rotating in. He's injured. He's not going to play. But he's not a starting defensive tackle. So, but yeah, I mean, the first time Detroit, this is a little known fact, the first time they've been favored in 24 weeks.
Yeah, type so.
Yeah. So I mean,
that is crazy.
Hey, look, I can't speak for Mike, but I'm pulling for the Lions unless I bet on Washington, and I'm leaning towards betting on Washington.
Right.
Oh, I got Keys in the house. I didn't mean to leave you hanging after introducing me, but yes, I'm in the house. Keys, welcome, brother, man. Glad you're here, man. I tapped in a little bit on Thursday night. So, by the way, thank you so much for sending me. So what it is that Thursday night after the game, me and Denver Gator get together. We do a little betting video. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Why I didn't put the link in the description is.
Blame it on the producer.
Mike says, no, it's my fault. I need to do better. But as you see here on the bottom here, don't forget, give us a thumbs up here. You got Buffa in the house here. Give him the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and share this stuff. This is great stuff. You get a double team here. You get a double team. Carolina needs it. Right? I think 1-1. I think they'll be good because, the Saints play Tampa Bay. One of those teams is going to be 1-1. They have a legitimate chance, with a win, to be. I forgot they lost last week. I was counting on them to win, but at 0-2, I don't think it's the end of the world. To be honest with you, I said this at the beginning of the season. I think Matt Rule is going to get fired. I don't think he's going to last.
Easily. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
But the fan base is very strong out there. I used to work for a company out in North Carolina, so I spent a lot of time out there. Knew people that went to the games all the time. That's other than Duke, North Carolina, and the Panthers. They don't have any other professional teams. So the fan base is pretty strong and pretty loyal. So I don't think it'll break the fan base yet. They'll want improvement, but yeah, Matt Rule on the hot seat. Definitely. I'm not convinced he'll ever pull him out of anything.
No, I think the quarterback situation and what he's done, I just completely mismanaging everything. I think he'll be gone. And then I think what you're going to have in what looks like to be a quarterback-rich draft next year, definitely going to be for a draft. Yeah, Denver Gator. I dropped the ball there. I said 2-0. I dropped the ball here. Dan, I'm glad you keep bringing your sponsor back and keeping your nose clean. Yes, stick to betting lines. I know, and I did not do well. But I did do well Thursday night. If you saw that betting video, I did make a quick $55 on the Chiefs. So that was
nice work.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, or they may end up 1-0-1. Yeah, I'm pulling for the Houston Texans to actually get 17 ties. Actually, I don't want 17 ties because I have money on them winning 3, 4, and 5 games.
Yeah, you need 6 wins.
Yeah, I definitely need 6 wins. So this is good. At this point, Alex, I'm to believe that anything can happen. Anything can happen. I mean, and by the way, week 1's always weird. Week 1's always weird. There's always some weird things. So, I'm thinking the weird thing is Chicago getting a win. I don't think this is a good team. I don't think Seattle's a good team. I said this beginning of the year. I think that Broncos fans. I was in Denver a couple times this offseason. They're thinking Super Bowl. I'm like, pump the brakes a little bit. And then, I saw on social media a lot of people comparing Buffalo to the 85 Bears on defense. and again, you may want to pump the brakes.
Yeah,
but
slow your roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They're a good team. I've been saying it for years. I like how they're built, and I've been liking the direction they've been going in Buffalo. But yeah, 85 Bears. Whoa.
Yeah, you may want to slow down here a little bit. Yeah. This season's already been pretty crazy. The Justin Herbert thing, I think it's going to be a lingering issue.
Well, yeah, it affects your mechanic, and it's on his left side. And you saw, especially that one where he just threw the ball into the ground where he could have ran for a first down, and he had nothing on it. He muscled up to get that last TD.
Oh, but what a gutsy performance!
He had to be saving some energy for that, and then hurled it into that one throw. It was just unbelievable.
I don't think he's going to be really recovered for the whole season. I think it's going to be something that's going to linger. And thank God if you're a Chargers fan, all 25 of them, that he's going to get some extra rest before the next game. But if I'm playing the Chargers, I definitely want to put pressure on Herbert. But I don't think he's going to be right all season.
No, he doesn't get a bye week till week 7 or 8.
I think you're right. Off the top of my head, I don't know here. Mike's going to go ahead and double check that. But I think this is bad. A lot of people were picking the Chargers. If you're an AFC West team, you know that you're fully aware that every year the Chargers are hyped up to be a Super Bowl team, but they're not. And I think that with Herbert being banged up, I think this definitely kind of downgrades them. So. I'm going to get some. I'm always going to get crap for used to liking Katy Perry. I was a big Katy Perry fan like 10 years ago.
Well, before she went nuts.
Oh God, she had this long hair.
She was
fun
cute.
Songs,
fun pop songs.
California Girls, Hot and Cold. I Kissed a Girl. Yeah, all that stuff was good.
Heartbeat.
All that stuff was good. Then she thought that she had a brain. And tried to get into politics, got that short blonde hair, which is terrible. Use your God-given gifts. You got some talent, you got a good voice. Nobody wants to hear about your politics.
I like how the voice is at the top.
I have my moments, Mike. I have my moments.
Oh, God.
Alex is pulling 0-17. No, I got money on the Texans. I got more money on the Texans than any other team. So this is actually funny. I actually answered this on social media. I don't know if it was you or anybody else, but Dan, go buy TCL 32-inch smart TV, watch 2 games. Okay, so what it is that with YouTube TV, you have an unlimited DVR. I DVR all the games, but I can't. It's really hard to go back and forth with I have Google Fiber. I used to have Google Fiber. They were phenomenal. You could go back
Fiber
and
TV,
forth.
yeah.
You could go back and forth, and it would stop. It's just a lot harder. I was kind of frustrated last week because I lost both my Green Bay and my New England picks. So I didn't want to go back and watch. And I had no interest in watching Chicago and San Francisco in a rainstorm. But I should have went back and watched Green Bay.
I love the weather games.
Oh, I normally I do, but I didn't want to watch those two teams. But I had no interest in watching Green Bay and Minnesota, considering I lost 200 on Green Bay. So I was kind of frustrated about that. But I normally have multiple games on DVR, and then the NFL Network rebroadcasts the games. I didn't have a chance to watch all of them. I just kind of watched some highlights. And then before I went on live, I double-checked the injury report. That's how I found out Ragnar was out. But yeah.
A second screen, though, you could have YouTube. You can have 3 instances pulled up.
So what I like doing is I like DVRing the games, but if you watch my Dan Betts NFL video, I did some in-game betting on the Chiefs. The Chiefs were at plus 125 when they were down 10-7 in the second quarter. I'm like, I for every $100 I win 125. That's at least $25, which won me 31.25. So made a quick 31.25 off of 10-7. If you know nothing else about Kansas City, if they get down by 3 points early in the second quarter, you're still okay. You're still okay. Mahomes isn't bad.
No, that kid's all right. I think he's a keeper.
He might make it. So what do you get if you go? It's actually funny. You get the first pick in the draft because you have no wins. It doesn't. Right. It actually doesn't count as 8.5. Actually doesn't count as 8.5. So, but we're not going to. The truth is, I believe that if you did go 0-17, I'm not 100% sure. I know the Lions. I'd have to go back because I know when they had that 3-10-1, they were still up there. But I think if you go 0-17, I'm not sure. Team. I'm not sure you really go. I'm not sure it really counts as 8.5. You may get the first pick in the draft, but hopefully it won't happen. I need 6. Get to 6. Please get to 6. Trubisky can make spectacular throws, but can't make the smart read at the right time. I can tell you this, that being a Chiefs fan, Mike might be able to back me up here. The Chiefs run the most complex offense in the NFL. And Matt Nagy, part of that Andy Reid tree, when I watched Nagy with Chicago, it looked like he was trying to throw the full playbook at Trubisky. One of the things about Mahomes that everybody knows the highlight throws, but what really makes him exceptional is from the neck up. He has a near photographic memory. His ability to dissect NFL defenses is on such an elite level. And I'm not calling Trubisky stupid at all or saying that he has an issue with it, but I think the complex offense was too much for Trubisky. Now, remember, Trubisky got thrown right into the fire. I mean, he started day one as rookie. You know what Patrick Mahomes did? He got to sit for a year
behind Alex Smith and learn for a year.
And that's
no
pressure. And that's something Trubisky didn't have the luxury of doing. And this offense is extremely complex. It's funny. Local Kansas City reporters always single out the rookie quarterbacks, and they always want to talk to them afterwards because they always say the same exact thing. They say, "Hey, so what's your first day training camp like?" And they all say the same thing. We thought they were messing with us because one play is like 6 sentences. Where in college, they do watch any college game. They got those flashcards and they all just look over to the side. And you go to an Andy Reid offense, it's 6 sentences as a play, and they all think it's a practical joke. Like, oh, you're just fucking with me. It's like, no, this is really the play. And they're like, oh shit. And even Aiden asked Mahomes, like, hey, my first couple of training camps, I just was struggling to call the play, let alone I got to go to the huddle. I got to look at the defense. I have to make adjustments. And it's not, if you've played high school or even college football, it's completely different because when you line up at the line of scrimmage, the receiver has a choice between anywhere between 3 to 5, maybe even 7 routes that they can run just based off the defense. So it's a lot. It's a lot. In Nagy, in my opinion, Nagy just threw the full playbook at Trubisky. It was too much for him.
Yeah, he needed a learning year.
Yeah, and he didn't have that. So going to Pittsburgh and Matt Canada, they're running a pretty simplified offense. It looks cute. There's a lot of like window dressing, but all in all, it's a pretty simple offense. We brought up earlier he threw that pass late in the fourth quarter, which why they didn't run the ball. Story,
right?
But you give him some time. I actually think he's going to be a pretty good quarterback, and I think that when Pickett takes over, I think he's going to be a starter somewhere else next year.
I can see that.
I was under the impression I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully we don't have that.
Right.
I don't want that.
Could you imagine the rule changes that would come out?
Oh God, yes.
Oh God.
Hey James, welcome, brother. All I want's the Lions win. It's the first time you've been favored in 24 weeks, and that's a good thing. And I said this Wednesday. Losing by 3 to Philly is not a bad thing, man. It's not a bad thing. I would be very, very, very happy. So if before going into week 1, if you told me, hey, Lions are going to lose 38-35 to Philly week 1, I mean, would you be mad?
No, I mean, you put up 35. No, I'd be pretty happy and excited. Like, ooh, we got some offense. I'd be looking forward to next week.
I would too. And, the offensive line injuries, I would – man, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to take Washington. I'm just, the offensive line injuries I think would be too much.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to overcome.
Wentz didn't look bad. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but Winston? I mean, four touchdowns. Dotson, I kind of blasted Washington because in the draft they traded down from 11 to 15. And the Saints at 11 took Chris Olave. And then at 15, Washington took Dotson. And I'm like, well, if you wanted a wide receiver, why not take the better one at 11 instead of trading down? That didn't make any. Well, by the way, Washington gave up some draft capital for Wentz, so that's part of the reason why. But I wasn't high on Dotson, who didn't have a good combine, but he looked good week 1. So
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and you got some young corners. You played. By the way, you did exactly what I said. You played a lot of press, man. It looks like, and it kind of bit you in the ass, but it may do better this week. So, hey, man, I'm pulling for you, James. I'd probably go Washington. I'd probably go Washington. Right now, is a beast, easily the best player on the Lions, top 3 center. He definitely missed. I'm literally just hoping Goff doesn't get destroyed. It'll be interesting to see what they do, man. It'll be very interesting. You gave up 22 to Jacksonville, not a team first time coach. It'll be interesting. To see what happens there. This puts more weight. I want to find out what they do. Are they going to do what they did last week, a lot of dink and dunk, or are they going to run the ball a lot more? It'll be interesting to see. It's a noon game, and more than likely we'll probably get New England at Pittsburgh. We probably won't. This might be the NFC game.
Because there's a more national.
Yeah. I think these games are the late ones here, starting here, but I think these are all the noon games here. Okay, so I don't. Yeah, I didn't put down on my notes here, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the game we're going to watch. This one or Miami at Baltimore.
Yeah, it's usually something that pertains to our division or one of the big national polls.
Exactly, and New England's a big one, but I'd be happy if you're one of these. Next game, Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a 3.5-point dog.
We finally get to it.
You finally get to it. This is the game. If you watch my NFL bets video, I like. I've been bird dogging this one because the line opened up at 46.5. It's dropped to 45. I'm waiting for 44.5. I like the over on this one. You have 2 offensive-minded head coaches. 2 teams that scored a lot of points in the second half. I think they can get over 45 points. So that's kind of my that's the game I'm putting action on. I like the over. A side note is there's supposed to be some light rain late in the afternoon. One thing about the NFL, rain doesn't affect NFL teams. All right,
not that much.
You can play in the rain. It's wind, but it is a little windy. It's supposed to be a 13-mile-an-hour wind, which
that affects things.
That affects things. However, I think they can get to 45. So that's the game. I'm waiting for 44.5. I'm being greedy. I want that extra half a point. But that's the game I like. I'm taking the over on that one. I do like Indianapolis to bounce back. Another thing is I'm also looking at the Kansas City money line week 3, which has them as a 3.5 point favorite at Indianapolis. I may take Kansas City money line early. So
I can see that.
Yeah, I might take it because if Indianapolis loses, that line's going to free fall. And even if they win, I don't see them winning impressively enough that that people are going to think, oh, they can beat the Chiefs now. So
Ballard has not gotten it together there.
He really hasn't. He really hasn't. They traded for Buckner, which was a great move. They brought in Justin Houston. I really thought they should have kept Houston there. He played really well there. Could add him opposite Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye has not developed yet, which is unfortunate. Houston's doing a pretty good job in Baltimore.
And he'd be a great mentor for somebody like that. Yeah, I was really shocked. I thought Houston had pretty much his tank was running dry, but surprised me.
No, he actually played really well. And I was kind of hoping instead Dunlap we could bring Houston back here.
No, he burned his bridges. He admitted he was taking games off and that his teammates had to get after him because he was so sick of Bob Sutton's defense.
He was
so demoralized. He was so demoralized. Yeah.
He burned his bridges. He was somebody that for a couple years was so good. I love Justin Houston.
Justin Houston was a beast.
Texans couldn't make the playoffs in the NFC East if they finish 0-17. Seriously, they might. They might. James, that's problems because the beef in the middle. It is. Damn. Now I haven't had a chance to eat yet, so I'm hungry here. I'm gonna see if Mike will take me out to eat afterwards. Matt Rule will be in Nebraska. He's not. Matt Rule will be in Nebraska. Seriously, I said this quite a bit. Don't be surprised if it's Urban Meyer. And for those of you who don't know, the Nebraska.
In Nebraska?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Well, I say this because Nebraska really, really is sick of losing. So they went ahead and they brought in Scott Frost, who went undefeated at UCF. And they brought him in, a former Nebraska Cornhusker. They thought he would get things turned around. They were supposed to do good last year. They won 3 games last year. They're not doing good this year. And what's worse is that their recruiting class was one of the worst recruiting classes in the country.
That's not going to get it done.
No, Matt Rule could be in Nebraska. I said that Urban Meyer if he does get a spot in Nebraska, would be a spot that I would kind of circle and say this would be the one. Because the one thing you can say about Urban Meyer is he does bring. I mean, he wins games in college, man.
Yeah, he does.
But Matt Rule, I do think will be back in college. Nebraska would be a spot. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know the other teams kind of looking. Of all the college football teams, I can't think of a Power 5 school, but except for Nebraska, that I think is really looking for a new head coach. So, yeah. It wouldn't. I think Urban Meyer is a possibility. I think Matt Rule's a possibility, but I 100% see Matt Rule returning back to college. So
yeah, I could see them going after a name. Those fans are crazy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They're really serious about football in Nebraska. If you're not familiar,
I've been to one Nebraska football game versus MU back in the day down in Columbia. Oh my gosh, yeah, it was like a 40-10 beating. And the score really didn't indicate how far apart those teams were. It should have been like 80-10.
Oh, Nebraska had some really good teams back in the day.
Who was the coach that followed Tom Osborne?
Oh God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I want to say Frank. Was it Solich? Was it Frank Solich, or was he afterwards? But I know that he didn't do a good job. And,
no, it was. But even the fans were like, Daddy, Tom Osborne would have gone through that. Yes, son, Tom would have. And I was just like, oh my God.
By the way, Tom Osborne, you might know this. I know he's in politics now in Nebraska. I want to say he's a senator.
I think state senator or something.
So yeah, because I was talking.
He didn't go national.
But he does. He's involved in politics. He has a big pull. He still has a big influence there.
He's like. I don't know what to equate it to. Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, he's a big deal in Nebraska.
He's like Prince in Minneapolis. I mean,
the 85 Bears. No, the Bills aren't going to be that type of a team. That's why it was comical that
right.
I saw the reference. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! A banged up offensive line, and we're actually going to talk about that with the Rams a little bit. Herbert better hope the team. No, he's no longer with the team, man. I tweeted out earlier Justin Herbert had 2 throws that saved 2 coaches from getting more criticism from last night's daily, keeping him down by 10 with 2 minutes left and only week 2 in Spags. Man, I could see that. I think it's going to be a lingering issue, and you know what? Like, let me ask you this here. Let's say the Chargers go 7-10. All right, is Staley on the hot seat?
No, totally, because they have huge expectations, and you're facing a Spags defense. And as much as I love my Italian brother from another mother, I'm ready for a new defensive coordinator, as somebody young with a fresh defensive mind, fresh takes, fresh schemes. What were they doing playing? And this is what you tell me.
All right.
So this was my read on it. He was playing like Keenan Allen was actually playing in the game. He was calling the defense like Keenan Allen was playing. So everything they played zone, kept all the receivers in front of them, and Herbert was just picking them apart because they were playing such soft coverage.
Are you talking about the last? No,
I'm talking at the beginning of the game. They were playing all that zone, and Herbert was completing pass after pass. Only time he missed a pass was when he misfired. And I'm like, what are you doing, Spags? We had no pass rush. Oh, I was getting mad.
Well, I'm kind of disagreeing because I actually think Spags made some nice adjustments. So what they did early, early in the game, Mike Williams just dominated, and somebody tweeted out, "What would Keenan Allen? How would Keenan Allen affect this game?" And I tweeted back, "They score more than 24 points."
Oh, yeah.
They score
Keenan?
more. Yeah. Keenan Allen's the number 1 receiver on that team. So what happened is he made some really nice adjustments. I was really pleased with Spags. But early on, I was just like you. I was very frustrated. I didn't like the soft coverage. Now, keep in mind, McDuffie was out. He's the first-round pick. The backup guy, I think he was I don't know if I know he's a rookie. I don't know if he was a practice squad player that he promoted or if he's actually getting the nod. Yeah.
Watson was a draft pick.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if he's on the practice squad.
No,
or he's on the active roster.
I think he's on the active roster.
But bottom line, I wasn't happy at all, but I love the adjustments. And then, hey, that pick 6, that was the play of the game. I mean, give them some credit for putting them in the right. Now, to be honest with you, they go back. If you watched the replay on the pick 6, it looked like it was more of the Chargers screwing up, and then the Chiefs making a good play. But
part of it was Willie Gay had blasted through that line, had his arms up in Herbert's face, coming right at him, and I think he kind of blocked his vision a little. He didn't know how close Jalen Watson was to the receiver.
Willie Gay played really well. Well, he's been playing pretty well.
Gay and Bolton flying all over the place. Chanel, we got to see him actually do some stuff.
Oh God! Some people watch porn. I watched Leo Chanel highlights in college. There was a play against Army. I thought he almost killed the quarterback. it was crazy. Like, this kid loves to hit, and I was so happy to see him in there.
Yeah.
And by the way, think about this. So you're playing against the Chargers, a pass-happy team, and we saw a lot of 3 linebacker sets. Yeah. It was a little surprising. It's one of those things that if you want to run against Kansas City has no problems putting in 3 linebackers and saying, go for it. We got 3 young, fast guys that can fly. And I don't remember the last time Kansas City's had 3 fast.
We've never had this athletic.
No. I mean, I'm not calling this the best linebacking unit, but I don't remember 3 guys that could just fly like this.
No, and that was the most impressive thing to me. They were always around the ball. Gay was all over the place. Gay was upset because Bolton broke up his easy pick that he would have had.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Bolton. By the way,
He was just waiting for.
Most years Bolton wins defensive rookie of the year. After his rookie performance, it wasn't Parsons just having one of those extra worldly type of seasons. Most of the time, Bolton wins rookie of the year, and Gay's just really. He's just scratching the surface. For those of you that don't know, his athleticism is just insane.
And he had like the problem with his child last year. That's why his head wasn't in things.
Yeah.
And now all that's cleared up. The child's okay. Whatever medical issue was is taken care of and fine. So now he's fully 100% committed and concentrating.
And then
I love what I'm seeing.
And then you get a guy like Chanel, a guy who's 250, ran a 4.53 at the combine. Just he's the guy just coming off the bench.
Flying. Yeah.
Oh, he can play. Yeah. Game plan. By the way, Funk says we have to hand over our man cards. So
for the Katy Perry.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The 4th and 1 throw to me on the 5 insane 99-yard pick six insane. Those two throws Staley and Spags get more criticism. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Totally.
And the thing is with Staley is that I think he's on the hot seat. People are calling him this coaching genius, but remember all the hype that they were getting last year. Oh, this is the year Chargers are going to win the West. And what did we hear this offseason? Who's going to win the AFC West?
Chargers. What do we hear every year? Chargers.
And so a 7-10 season, especially with
all the money they spend on defense.
Ooh, and then Herbert, this is going to be a lingering injury. I'm really kind of curious. I didn't look for. We're going to go through week 2, but I'm wondering week 3. Whoever, we may not get through it. I like reading the comments.
I know the comments are great.
The comments are great here. I don't disagree, but since Allen came in the NFL, he's had the second best defense in terms of EPA of any quarterback in the last decade. Since Allen.
Since Allen came into the NFL. Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo. Oh, okay. He's talking about Buffalo.
Yeah. Boy, Josh.
Yeah. I mean,
I like how they're built.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. I'm not anti. To be honest, I'm pro Allen. If anything, I mean, I don't know if I told you this. I brought this up a couple times. When he was a college senior at Wyoming, I was taking Crab McGall with one of his former teammates.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, he was a linebacker, and so I'm like, dude, I got a YouTube channel I just started. I'm a huge football fan. I asked him like a billion questions. And he goes, Josh Allen could play linebacker. He could play tight end.
Oh, yeah. He's built like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's the most gifted athlete.
Tight end, yeah.
So one of his former teammates, and I thought this was interesting. He goes, the problem is he's so raw. He just has to go to the right place. And then when he got drafted by Buffalo, I thought he did go to the right place.
They've handled him well.
Yeah. Unlike, we talked about Trubisky earlier, I thought it was completely mismanaged. I think Justin Fields being mismanaged. I should probably go back and watch San Francisco, Chicago, but I think how they're handling Trey Lance maybe a little better, but not 100% sure. But Allen doesn't have a bad defense. I mean, but for those of you that think Allen's better than Mahomes, I kind of snicker every time I hear that though.
No,
I mean,
I don't think he's better.
Level.
Mahomes is a big guy too. But Allen plays a different style.
Let me throw this out at you here. And I normally we do a little bit of show prep, so I'm throwing a curveball at you.
Well, yeah, but we can't do content off air.
No, all right. Yeah. So let me throw this at you.
What?
Herbert healthy or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
You really think? I think it's a question. I
love Allen.
I think it's a question. I'd almost take Herbert. I like Herbert that much. I think he's that good.
Who do I
really do?
Who? Well, we'll see. I'll have to pay Josh Allen first. So maybe from a general manager standpoint and cap standpoint, I have extra time before I have to play Herbert.
Well, Allen signed that big contract this offseason.
Right.
Not by the way, it's kind of, when you sign a 6-year, $250-some million contract, it's hard to say team friendly, but it kind of is a team friendly contract.
Which Holmes' contract is actually team friendly.
It is team friendly.
It's $500 million, but it's team friendly.
When Herbert's contract comes up, like how much? Because it's in California. All right, it's in California. Yeah, you gotta pay him.
Who's going to reset? Oh, and you're going to have the Lamar contract is going to reset before he gets.
Well,
paid.
here's the deal. Which quarterback makes the most? Is it Joe Burrow, Tua, or is it going to be Herbert?
Tua's not getting it.
Is it going to be, by the way, for those of you who don't know, there was a lot of talk about Tua being more accurate than Mahomes. Hopefully, I haven't heard that since Tyreek Hill, and give credit to Tyreek talking up his guy.
Talking up his guy, selling his podcast. I'm sure it's got ads on it. So he's got to generate listens. So I don't put too much on that.
By the way, I'm a little behind on the comments, but Scott never joins when it's just me, Mike.
He's got a man crush.
Yeah, he does. He likes Italian guys. He likes Italian.
That's what I've heard, man, in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So Scott, man, hey, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for joining, man. We appreciate it.
And the show
is better with Buffa. It really is. It really is. I've been searching online. Everything. So yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think if you go 0-17, you end up being 8.5, which will probably put you around 14th, 15th.
But does the NFL really keep track of the point value? It's not like soccer.
Keys. I'm gonna say this,
dude. Kudos.
His first couple of years. Awesome. In Kansas City, Sutton's defense was one of the best in the league. It really was.
No.
We can go back and look. We can go back.
The Indianapolis, and I have people that will back me up on this, the Indianapolis historic playoff meltdown where we were just rolling and his defense
that wasn't his fault.
We
had like 6 starters go down with injuries.
I said even then, I see where this is going. I wouldn't even let him on the plane back to Kansas City. Fire. And I was right. I could see what was coming.
I liked Sutton.
I
really do. I liked Sutton.
Oh, I hated
the Rex Ryan type of defense. You need corners. He's actually in Atlanta as a senior assistant to Dean Pease. And
he's a front office guy, and that's better.
Well, he's actually doing. He's just like helping the defensive backs, the way I understand it.
Good.
Dean Pease is running that. He's actually, believe it or not, even though they lost last minute to the Saints, the defense I think is getting better. We're actually going to talk about that.
Whoever's Kansas City's playing in the Super Bowl, get Bob's son as your defensive coordinator. Please.
I had no idea you're an Iowa fan. I was hoping Scott Frost is. I could say this. I don't follow college nearly as much as I do pros, but Scott Frost.
I don't follow it at all.
Well, he's Nebraska head coach is definitely on the hot seat. We both know this. If you win less than 6 games,
you're in the hot seat on Nebraska. I do know that much.
Nobody wants. I'm talking about the state. Nobody wants to go.
Omaha's nice.
I'm friends with a couple of Nebraska fans. They melt down like Cato.
That's an old reference, but a good one.
I just wanted to complain a bit about the Rams-Bills game. They showed 13 seconds of Ozzy halftime show. How do you get?
Yeah, what was that?
Okay, I fast forwarded through it because I love Ozzy. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, I just was really into the game. but when I was fast forwarding it, I was like, okay, if it looked like it was going to be something awesome, and I was like, I had to rewind, fast forward, and I was like, okay, all right.
And then they cut to them standing on the. Oh, and Ozzy's behind us playing. Show Ozzy.
Chargers had 3rd and 2 when we were in zone. Yeah, I know which play you're talking about, and I'm not saying Spags played a great defense, but he had some good adjustments. Held the Chargers to 24 points. Plus, we scored a defensive touchdown. That's good for Kansas City every week.
It almost looked like he let the dogs loose at one point. Okay, enough with the contain. Pound them.
I mean. They won the game. I mean,
but another point on that, Chris Jones was getting, now maybe this was by design, but it looked like that rookie O-lineman was owning him.
By the way, that's something I didn't bring up. I wanted to. Zion Johnson, great draft pick by the Chargers. I was surprised because I thought they had a bigger hole at right tackle. They went with an interior player, so you got a left tackle and a right guard who just played lights out. Really played lights out, and he really did his number. So they had to move Chris Jones around. He did end up. Did he get 2 sacks?
2 sacks.
2 sacks. Yeah.
But one thing I noticed too, he was just bull rushing. It wasn't until he moved he started doing other moves.
He went against a backup offensive lineman. I thought that was a good adjustment.
Yeah,
by Spags. Take advantage of an injury. You have to wonder if Keenan Allen and offensive line wasn't banged up. Is it a Chargers victory? Maybe.
Very well could have been. Yeah.
I mean, I've said this many times. A lot of people disagree, but Keenan Allen's one of the best receivers in the NFL. I think he's an amazing player.
He is.
Wouldn't he look great in the Chiefs uniform?
Yeah.
He looked much better in that Chiefs red.
Oh, yeah.
It's science that the Chiefs red is better than the Chargers. It's science. Najee Johnson was on practice squad. Watson made okay. I apologize. I wasn't sure either. You know, I actually they were higher on Joshua Williams. He played a lot in preseason, but I don't think Williams even. I don't know. Did Joshua Williams even play or not? The number one guy is McDuffie. I think he's going to be back next week against the Colts.
If they're playing well, you don't hear their name.
That's always a good thing. I don't think Williams played, to be honest with you. Johnson was over him. I don't know if it's an injury issue or if he's just higher. Joshua Williams next year, though, keep in mind, he went to Fayetteville State. Like once he gets
that's who that is, right?
Once he has an NFL all season, I'm hoping the light bulb goes off and he makes some adjustments. McDuffie should be back week 3, and
he should be. It's not a serious injury.
No, and he'll replace Najee Johnson, which had a great. And also another issue. Oh no, another name freeze. Number 38 on the Chiefs.
38. Oh God.
Name freeze already.
He
had a really good game.
You know what the problem is? The NFL changed the naming, the numbers.
Yeah.
What numbers you for which position?
Yeah, I know.
So now it's like, wait a minute, but he's like Bolton's what, 32?
Yeah, Bolton's 32.
Like, wait a minute, that's not a linebacker.
And I know. It throws me off. I was like, go back to 54, but I like Chanel at 54, and I like the. I'm an old school guy, so I like the linebackers being at 50.
50. Well, yeah, you know who's.
Yeah, I have no idea why he wanted to be 30. Was he 32 in college or something? I might be it, but I'm drawing a blank. Who's 38? 38.
Kimball Anderson. No.
If you're not a long old school Chief fan, Kimball Anderson is one of my all-time favorite players.
All-time
favorite players. I'm drawing L'Jarius Sneed.
Sneed.
Yeah, Sneed played a good game.
Sneed had a great game.
Yeah. Yeah, Willie Gay, the light bulb just really.
He was on fire.
I mean, the light bulb's going. I mean, if you don't know his story, former 5-star player, spurned Alabama, stayed in home, went to Mississippi State, only started 9 games, had off-the-field issues, on-the-field issues, went to the combine, blew it up, and then he had all sorts of issues. Don't misunderstand Danny as Kleenex's license. Dan, I didn't know you were into college age. Who would be the best starting linebacker combo in the league? If you're going 4-3, give me Tampa Bay. I don't care what PFF says. They gave
PFF's nuts.
Yeah, but give me Levante David and Devin White any day of the week. And keep in mind there are 2 outside linebackers. I know they have that Joe Tyron. He's got that hyphenated name. He has that number 9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Shaquille Barrett. So if you're going 3-4, Tampa Bay would be my number 1. 4-3. Oh God. I don't know off the top of my head. A 4-3 team. I mean, don't get me wrong. Pittsburgh would be in consideration for a 3-4.
They always have good linebackers.
Yeah, they would be in consideration. Watt's going to be out for a couple weeks. Did
he tear his pec?
Yeah. Pectoral injuries out for about a month. I'm not 100% sure. 4-3, I couldn't give you a good answer, but if you had to say give me the best linebackers, I'm going with Tampa Bay. I just Devin White, Levante David, those 2 inside linebackers, good as anybody.
Levante, yeah.
Oh yeah, Shaquille Barrett is a really good player. Joe Tyron, I don't remember the last part of his name. Really, really, really good player. 4-3, I'm God, I don't know off the top of my head. 3-4 would be Tampa Bay, and I would give the edge to Tampa Bay overall. But 4-3, I'm not sure. Yeah, she was born. Yeah, there were some issues. He missed some games. it's you got to realize it's really hard for us to kind of look at these guys as human beings. But I mean, there's off-field issues that they got to deal with,
and it was an off-field issue that wasn't like something illegal, anything like that, which you can respect. And now she's fine. You can see the difference.
Yeah,
like I know a guy who lives like a couple doors from him. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and so I mean, you got to remember these guys are human beings. And, it's something. Things like this affect you. So
yeah, they have life stuff.
If the Chargers find healthy and miss the great playoffs, and seriously, it may not matter. The Chargers are
when are the Chargers ever healthy?
And the Chargers organization, you can go through history. They've always made questionable moves. Remember, they got rid of Drew Brees for Phillip Rivers.
Well, Brees was coming off that shoulder surgery too. Though.
Yeah,
they weren't sure he was going to be.
Well, and then they fired. Then Marty Schottenheimer was pissed about that. Then Marty Schottenheimer with Rivers goes 14-2. Then they fire Marty after a 14-win season. You can go back to the 80s where they got rid of Jefferson and Fred Dean. Fred Dean goes to San Francisco, wins the Super Bowl in 81.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could go through history, and the Chargers I've always thought the Chargers have always made some bad moves. So
Ryan Leaf.
Yeah. Chiefs fan telling Chargers going to win AFC West is like Texans fan here and Jags are going to have better. No, I hope not too.
No, it's not the same. We hear every year because they're trying to pump up that market. It's always Chargers, that West Coast media. No, it's not quite the same.
No, it's not. Speaking of Ozzy dropped a new album. I did not know this. Ozzy and Eric Clapton.
I can't believe he's still doing it. It's like Keith Richards.
Oh, God. Can you imagine a party with these two guys like 40 years ago?
Oh, no.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
No, I want to be here today.
The album's not the greatest, but I'll check it out. I actually didn't know Eric Clapton was still performing music. So, one of my
well, that's good because he had a bad vaccine reaction to the coof shot, and he wasn't playing for a while.
One of my old dating myself here, but the Color of Money, one of my all-time favorite movies. The way that you use it from Eric Clapton.
Never seen it. Is that the one with
Paul Newman, Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
You've never seen it?
The Hustler, basically.
Yeah. It's The Hustler Part 2. So,
okay.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. Anyway, Eric Clapton does the soundtrack for that. Great movie, man.
Tune into Sherlock at the Movies at a later date.
According to QB betrayal ratings, Allen, with the second best D of all 54 quarterbacks starting the past decade, has those been fifth best technically. The Allen-led offense has let down the D. So, all right. I mean, I like I said, I mean, easily a top 10 quarterback, maybe a top 5. I'm not sure Herbert isn't better though. No, I'm not sure.
He may be. He's in that conversation too. You look at top tier, I say top 5 right now. You got Mahomes, you got Allen, you got Herbert. Who else would I put in there? Well, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, you can never count out.
You can't count
Brady,
out Brady.
You can't count out. There's your top 5 right there.
There you go. Here's a pick. Okay. All right. So we'll go over these here.
Yeah, we need to get to these.
All right. So we got Panthers +2. I don't have a play on that, to be honest with you. You got the Lions +2. Interesting. Offensive line injuries galore. Injuries galore. So I'd probably go with Washington. Cards. You got 5, which is interesting because I've seen 5.5 everywhere. I actually do like this. I almost put action on it. The Cardinals got a lot of injuries, and I didn't get a chance to see Raiders Chargers play. After seeing the way the Chargers played against Kansas City, I'm going to kind of assume the Raiders are a good team. You have a banged up Chargers team. You do get 5 points, but you're going to Vegas.
And remember, they were coming back against the Chargers.
Yeah,
I'd take the Raiders.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I was leaning towards the Cardinals myself, but man, you got a lot of injuries. All right, you got your top 2 receivers are down. They didn't look particularly sharp against Kansas City, so
Murray's a little too full of himself.
Yeah, I'd hold off, but I'm leaning towards the Cardinals. Mike, on the other hand, likes the Raiders. Keep in mind, I think the Raiders got a pretty good team, and they are at home.
They got some talent.
They really do. They really do. And Titans +10. I'm leaning with you against the Titans. I think Buffalo is a little overrated, but keep in mind they've got some extra rest, and I think the Titans could be a complete shit show. I really do. If this game, by the way, here's the problem: if the Titans get down by double digits early,
they're not coming back.
There's no way they come back. Or if the Titans get up with Josh Allen, of course they're going to come back. It's just a question of how much will it take. I'm avoiding, to be honest with you. The only game I like out of those four would be the Cardinals, and I kind of want to wait and see because I have no idea what to expect from the Raiders. The Titans with 10. Here's what I like about it. Derrick Henry had 143 yards last year against them in a Titans upset, but you got the Bills kind of going to circle that game and like, hey, this is a team that beat us last year. This is a team that beat us last year, and it's a one-dimensional team. I mean, if they get down early, I could easily see them folding. I wouldn't even be surprised if Malik Willis ends up playing a little bit.
You think? Wow, really?
He might. I mean,
that's a bold statement.
I mean, look, let's say it's 38-7 in a blowout.
Why not get him some garbage time?
Get him some garbage time.
All right, because the other one, you're not building your future on their starter.
Amazement. All my social media links is below. Hit me up and let me know if you're putting action down to all these. If you already did or not, and let me know how you do, man.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. Let us know. Talking a new release. So I didn't know you released an album. I didn't know that.
I don't follow music.
I don't either. Love a ton of dogs this week. I only have action on one game, and the other one I'll talk about here. In my opinion, the Bills are a much better team than the Chiefs, but between quarterbacks, I'm taking Mahomes. I get where you're coming from, but yeah, just quarterback. I think it's a no-brainer that Mahomes is a better quarterback than Allen. I'm shocked that there's a lot of people think Allen's better. I'm not so sure Herbert's not a better quarterback than Allen.
Who has the MVP in the ring?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. That is kind of question. Yeah,
but I do like Josh's defense better sometimes.
Herbert's throw is insane. Allen is good. Never seen like that. Yeah, that 4th and 1 throw, and then the other one on 4th and 5, that 40-yard dart, which the Chiefs played perfectly. That was one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, great coverage.
It's just perfect dime.
I love Herbert. Just don't like the coach would actually. Yeah. If you put Herbert with an offensive mind, now keep in mind Josh Allen doesn't have an offensive-minded coach either. But if you put Herbert on offensive-minded coach,
like a Doug Peterson,
oh my
or
God, oh yeah, and don't be seriously like it. I mean, I think when Herbert's contract's coming up, I think Herbert can say, you know what, he could go. Right. I want a Jillian, like whatever number he wants to come up with, he'll probably get. But I mean, when if he went somewhere else,
he could conceivably. You
never know.
Sure Lamar's not on the move. We never expected Russell Wilson to get traded the way he did.
No, you never. The NFL's a weird thing.
Last offseason was insane.
Yeah, you never know.
I can't keep track with all of this.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, when if a team like Detroit offered 2 number 1s, Swift,
you got to do it. Yeah,
Hutchinson, and said, I'm just
put
throwing
a nice
it out
package
there.
Together.
Yeah. What if there's a team that put a package together? The Chargers, out of all the teams, I could see doing something crazy. I mean, Mahomes and Reed are better than Allen and McDermott. Better team, yeah. The Bills, the Chiefs have better offensive line, tight end, quarterback, defensive lines, linebacker, special teams.
I don't know about defensive tackle.
Well, they don't have anybody as good as Chris Jones.
But what do we have besides him?
We don't have anybody really,
right? Except for Karlaftis, which we have high hopes for.
Yeah, the linebackers. I would actually take the Bills linebackers. They got some really good linebackers. Ours are younger and cheaper. Right. Yeah, ours are younger, cheaper, faster. But I mean, Tremaine Edmonds, and the other guy I'm drawing a blank on. Really good linebackers. Good linebackers.
O-line, yeah, I'd call it a little bit of a push. Tight end, Chiefs all the way. That's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, hey, I think it's week 6. I know Buffalo and comes to Arrowhead. I think it's week 6. It's going to be great.
That's going to be awesome.
Heard a crazy rumor from someone in Baltimore. Not sure who. Lamar said 3 teams he would like to go to. Lions are 1 of 3. Well, that is interesting because he's from Florida. So I was thinking that if he'd want to go somewhere, wouldn't it be a South team?
Right.
Like Atlanta would make a lot of sense.
Atlanta would make sense.
Tampa Bay would make a lot of sense if Brady retires. If he retires,
Tampa. We both think Seattle because just
Seattle makes a lot of sense.
Geno looked good, and he only threw for like $140, but his throws look good. Detroit, I hadn't considered Detroit. That is an interesting.
I'd have a hard time believing somebody from Florida would want to go to Detroit.
Go play in a dome.
Yeah, I don't know, but let's say he did. Let's say he did. Your golf contract is up after this year, so you have to move on from golf. You don't have to draft a guy, so
save the draft.
It would be interesting. I mean, I personally, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be. He's what do you call it? What odds would you give it? 50-50 that he's moving on?
I really think Baltimore's going to get it done. But I heard something that he wanted a $250 million guarantee.
Yeah. And he wants Watson guarantee.
And I don't know if you're how do you do that with a quarterback that runs that much?
No, because it's one good hit. That's why you and I freak out over Josh Allen running that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look what happened to Herbert last night. I mean, he is banged up. I can't do that. Not for a guy that's putting his body out there like that.
Me and Denver Gator talked about this. If you're Baltimore, here's your option. Just draft Anthony Richardson, who can do almost the same thing, and he's going to cost you $40 million less, and you can just build the rest of your team around a young quarterback.
Because you franchise Lamar, get the picks, and then build around a fresh young quarterback.
I mean, you also have all that salary cap. I mean, you could legitimately do that. And I apologize to Denver Gator because I got Florida Kentucky on the DVR. I never watched it. Kentucky won that game. So, and I heard from Denver Gator, Anthony Richardson didn't look good, but
Chase Daniels will make more.
Oh God. Chase Daniels, by the way, has made an insane amount of money.
Does he made like 40-60 million? Just being a backup.
Dan talking about the Sutton death days. We had a lot of talent around. Yeah.
Sutton death days.
His second year, the Chiefs were second in scoring defense. The year the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, the 9-7 season. But remember that year, Derek Johnson went down, DeVito went down, and Sutton did a really good job.
It was the scheme.
He had a good scheme.
No, he didn't. He's out of touch. Game passed him by. God bless him.
Chase Daniels had a perfect life. Dude made like $50 million at a front row to see a light game. Just saying, he's made. I actually think he's made more than $50 million. I remember he signed a 3-year, $21 million deal with the Eagles. Moved on from there. He made a lot of money in Kansas City as a backup. He was
making like $3 million a year.
I know I think he's making like $5 million a year in LA. And that's not a hard life. I mean, what do you do? Came in for a play, ran a handoff.
Well, you still have to train like that. You just don't take the abuse. Yeah,
it's not a bad life, man.
It's a good life.
I mean, being a backup quarterback in the NFL is not a bad thing. Yeah.
No.
Love the backdrop, by the way, better than the other one you had, Dan. No respect. No. I played around. So here's the deal. I'm going to reveal the secrets here, Mike. Yeah. So what it is, I was playing around with it. Mike's like, this looks like crap. So we put up a new green screen, played around with the lighting, and we still got some work to go. But Mike's like, hey, Dan, you got to fix this up. I might have to work remotely next week.
I won't always be here in person.
Yeah, he may not.
But I'll be remote.
He hates my apartment. That's what he hates my apartment.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad place. nice. That's fine. Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of like it. The Lions could get the most out of money need from letting Goff go. I just don't like. Yeah, I don't think it's credible, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're a kid from Florida, I don't know the appeal of Detroit, but I will say this: like, when Goff moves on, and you have 2 first-round picks, you have money. It would make sense, but as we could tell you here in Kansas City, whatever you do, you don't want Dorsey doing that contract. So,
although for all the knocks on Dorsey, and one of the big things was Clark Hunt had to step in to get the Eric Berry contract done,
which ended up being a big mistake,
right? Because Dorsey wanted some sort of injury guarantee, and that was hanging it up, and Dorsey proved right.
Yeah.
Berry barely ever played again for us.
Johnson was a college safety, and I think they converted him to quarterback. Fast kid. Johnson.
What's Johnson?
Talking about the guy who made the pick 6 last week.
Oh
yeah. I love Chase Daniels, greatest con man in sports, played well enough. Can't tell you. Seriously, this has been a trend throughout NFL history. There's always been backup quarterbacks that have just made a living doing this. Don Strock. Dude, the Don Strock, he was the quarterback, one of the greatest games of all time. Game made me a football fan was the 81 playoff game against the Chargers. And then he led the Browns to the playoffs like last month of the season. He was a a driving range instructor. He was working at a golf course. Comes into Cleveland with like the tan and a beer gut and led them to the playoffs. But backup quarterbacks have done that throughout history of the NFL.
Chad Henne.
Oh yeah.
Luke McCown. Trying to
think. Luke McCown played to I think he was 42 or something.
Yeah. Damon Heward.
Oh, you can go back to the 60s. The Raiders had a punter backup quarterback play to us like 48. I'm drawing a complete blank, and he's in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Oh yeah.
God, I'm drawing a complete blank on this. This has gone on throughout NFL history. You'll see this. There's a handful of guys. There's a starting quarterback, a young starting quarterback right now that's going to be a backup quarterback in a couple of years. Watch Geno Smith. He's not going to be a starting quarterback too much longer.
His career's been as a backup.
Oh yeah, seriously, you've been surprised me. 10 years from now, Geno Smith comes in, starts a game. Steve DeBerg. Remember Steve DeBerg?
Well, he started in Tampa, got replaced by Steve Young.
Yeah.
And went to San Francisco, got replaced by Joe Montana. Came to Kansas City, got replaced by Joe Montana.
After San Francisco, went to Denver.
Oh, Denver. That's right. I forgot Denver.
Yeah.
That was the one. He got,
Is ranking so difficult because there's a lack of I thought that's part of it, and another part is that 4-3 defenses. I'm drawing a blank. I know Kansas City runs it. I know the Raiders do. I want to tell you the Colts, but the problem is it's not playing. So
it changes. The NFL is cyclic. 3-4 will be popular. Then everybody goes to a 4-3 for a while. Then they go to a 3-4, and everybody follows suit. It seems to swing back and forth.
And more teams are playing that 3-3-5 college defense, and that's going to be a new trend. It's going to be 4-2-5 versus 3-3-5, and
because they're so pass centric now in the NFL.
It's going to like I said, I just fired off the top of my head. I just said Tampa Bay, but I mean,
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one. So I was wrong. Allen's offense has been 20th out of 54 quarterbacks in the past 10 years, right about defense being all right. Herbert's second on the list of most betrayed quarterbacks by our defense. Breeze is number 1. Herbert's offense, 9 of 54. Defense, 53-54. From Mahomes, has best offense of all 54. Defense, 37. So, all right.
37. That sounds right.
Check out some of the bet vids Dan and I are building out, trying to build something. Yeah, matter of fact, awesome. I should have put the link in the description. I kind of dropped the ball there. Mike will yell at me later, but it's actually some good stuff. Denver Gator went 2-0-1, and he's got 3 good picks. And then I have my game that I haven't put action on yet. But before I get to the rest of these comments, I'm gonna fire off some of these games.
Yeah, we got to catch up real
quick. Miami at Miami at Baltimore. Baltimore's a 3.5-point favorite. This is a really good game. I really, really want to watch because last year Miami did a really good job against Baltimore. Miami blitzed Mac Jones, caused a lot of problems. I really want to see. This is a money game, true money game for Lamar Jackson here. Do you have a pick on this one, Mike?
Oh man, these 2 weeks are brutal. I got to go with the home team. When in doubt, I don't trust Tua at all.
I don't either.
I mean, I know Tyreek will get his about 100, and he can always break one and be a game changer. But I'm going to go, and I'm old-fashioned. I like a solid running team to control the ball and control the clock.
Dobbins is questionable. I think he plays. So is Peters. Bottom line, I agree with Mike though. I think Baltimore's just a better team. I think a lot of people saw Miami win and the way they won, and I think this is a classic overreaction by Miami. But it's going to be a fun game. I really hope this one's televised in Kansas City. I really want to watch this game.
Injuries. I mean, Baltimore's got some injured defensive backs. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
New England at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a 2.5-point home dog. Me and Denver Gator, if you watch our video, both of us like Pittsburgh here. I'm almost tempted to put some action down, but I'm kind of worried about Bill Belichick revenge. Throughout his coaching career, he doesn't have a lot of times where he loses back-to-back games. Now, most of that's with Brady.
Yeah, and Pitt, I don't know how Tomlin keeps a job, but Pitt always finds a way to win.
They do. That's a tough one. Both of us kind of like the home dog, me and Denver Gator.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you guys.
That's a tough one. That's a game that I'm really hoping is played locally.
I'd like to see that.
Really want to see this. Jets at Cleveland. Cleveland's 6.5-point favorite.
I'll take Cleveland.
I would take Cleveland to win. I wouldn't bet on this game with a 10-foot pole. I mean, you got a couple backup quarterbacks, some weird situations. But I had to pick one. I'd pick Cleveland, but I don't like this game at all.
So how bad are the Jets, which we know how bad they always are, but Saleh, who their coach, who Mahomes called out after the Super Bowl, said, well, they just kept running the same defense over and over. But he was a superstar just because he had a ton of first-round picks on that D-line. Parlays that into a head coaching job. Now he's blaming the kicker for them losing.
Take a look at what San Francisco's done since he's been gone. The defense didn't miss a beat.
No.
So, that's a guy that's on the hot seat.
Yeah. And, if he makes it through the season, it'll be a miracle.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I mean, this is a team that I'm looking at. I mean, this team has like 2-3 win potential.
It's the Jets.
Now, when Zach, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, I have a huge man crush on Breece Hall, the Jets' second-round pick, the number one running back chosen. You know how many carries he got?
How many?
6.
That's all?
I was floored. Jimmy, I haven't seen Jimmy in the comments. He had over 40 yards. I think it was over 41 rushing yards. And I was like, oh, that's money in the bank. You know, he'll probably get 30 touches and he gets 6. So, Salah, we don't like you here, man. I mean, bad job. Tampa Bay at the Saints. Saints are 2.5-point favorite. Brady is 0-4 against the Saints, but bet against Brady at your own risk. Mike, man, what do you think, brother?
It's another tough one. Tampa Bay has not looked good. Timing looks
offensive
off.
Line injuries.
Supposedly, Giselle wasn't at the game. She's mad that he came back and unretired. So he's got home problems in his head. I'd go with New Orleans. They're not playing well.
I always say the same thing, bet against Brady at your own risk, but the Saints have had Brady's number. Another game I hope that we can watch. Yeah. I think that will be available as the NFC game. That should be.
His number has to come up at some point, just like Peyton Manning.
Absolutely.
He seemed unbeatable till that one game against the Chiefs where he threw 4 picks, and then he was never the same. It's like that's when he finally hit the wall.
We got Washington at Detroit. Talked about this earlier. Detroit's a 1.5-point favorite. First time they've been favored in a long time. With the offensive line being healthy, I would like Detroit. I mean, looks like they may have 3 starters out on the offensive line. So I'm leaning towards Washington. Sorry, Lions faithful, man. I mean, I love the Lions fans that join here, man. You know, Funk, you're my boy and everything, but I mean, 3 starters on the offensive line. I mean, is that, who do you like here, Mike?
If the backups can run block, then yeah, you got to keep it on the ground, control the clock, keep Washington off the field. Otherwise, I got to go with Washington.
Yeah, I do too. Wentz had 4 touchdown passes last week.
He looked good.
He did.
The best he's looked in a while.
Atlanta at the Rams. Rams are 10.5-point favorites. They got a massive amount of offensive line injuries as well. I have a hard time believing that they don't win this game. Could they cover 10.5? I don't know. Atlanta didn't look bad.
No, Atlanta did not look bad. Rams are beat. McVay's he's got a big ego, man. He does not want to get
I don't have the number, but I think Mariota had 72 yards rushing against a pretty good Saints defense. So
yeah, because he can move.
I mean, I think we both like
week.
That's a tough one. Hey, look, I think we like the Rams to win, but I wouldn't bet on this one.
Yeah.
This is another one I'm avoiding like the play.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you.
This is a game I might put some action on. Seattle at San Francisco. San Francisco is now this point spread's jumped all over the place. Right now, it's back at 9.5. San Francisco is a 9.5-point favorite. Mike, let me ask you this here. I know you don't do a lot of sports betting.
No, I'm a fancy guy.
What has San Francisco done here to make them almost a 10-point favorite in this game?
I think it's less what San Francisco's done and more than what Pete Carroll didn't do, getting a quarterback. I think that's the only difference. If they're going to win by that much, Garoppolo's got to come in and.
I agree. I completely agree. I might actually put some money on Seattle to cover this. These divisional games in NFC West have always been tough. I mean, yeah. I don't think San Francisco deserves to be a 10-point favorite. So here's the deal. The line opened up 10.5, dropped to 8. Now it's back to 9.5. Jamal Adams out for the year for Seattle. That's a lot of it. But I may put some action on Seattle. I haven't decided yet, but 9.5's a big number.
It is.
I mean, for 2 teams really struggling offensively.
Now, Kittle is questionable, so he may actually play, and he's a talent.
I mean, he is a talent.
So, yeah, that just seems like a big spread.
It's I think it's way too much. I may put some action on it. If I do put action on it, I'll release a video that way I can document it. To be fair, Allen, though, Herbert and Burrow have receivers who have the vertical for them to get balls to. Allen, Mahomes for the season to be continued never have. Well, I mean, MVS has speed. Sky Moore barely played, which I was kind of surprised about.
Yeah, so was I.
I really thought they were going to get him involved, but yeah, you said defensive tackle.
I could get high a little bit.
And then I'm trying to think of who, because they got Ed Oliver and the other defensive tackle. I'm drawing a blank. They actually added a defensive tackle, ended up being pretty good. But defensive tackle, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I'll keep Bolton and Gay over them. Bolton, Rec, Derrick Henry, and anyone he has a shot on. The Bill. I'm just saying the Bills linebackers are pretty good. They're pretty good. They're pretty damn good. Then why not Miami replace it? Yeah, this is a comment earlier. Maybe Lamar's building friends with the 2 former Ravens on the Lions, Borden Elliott, and the vibe in that building is good. It's a possibility.
Yeah. And he knows Dorsey's picking players to play with him.
Daniels earned around. I think it's higher. I really think it's higher.
That was a few years ago. He earned 40.
Yeah,
he's got to be at least 50 by now.
I know that he had a 3-year, $21 million deal with Philly like over 10 years ago, and I know he made about $5 million a year, $3 or $5 million a year in Kansas City for several years, and he's making about $5 million a year with the Chargers. I think it's higher than that. You maybe some of you guys have seen it.
But it's still a nice. We'd take that gig, wouldn't we?
Oh
yeah. I'd be okay. I could survive.
Yeah, I'd like to think that. I know there's I don't know if you saw the Broke special on ESPN where like 90% of basketball and NFL players have to file bankruptcy or.
Wow.
Yeah, Chase Dan. I don't think it's going to fall into that category. Smart dude. hopefully used that MU degree and made some good investments. So
we talked to a former chief about that. I can't say who, my cousin and I, and he was saying, they have those financial classes and everything where they teach players, try to teach it. So nobody goes to them.
Really?
And he said, yeah, you're supposed to go. He said, nobody goes.
Really?
Yeah, he said very few people.
It's such a shame. If you ever watch that special, it's so horrible because they interviewed some of the players. Like they interviewed Bernie Kosar, who said his dad managed his money.
Right,
and,
Bernie. Yeah.
Yeah, and he went bankrupt because his dad was paying like 65 different cell phone bills. Oh yeah, he's like I don't even know who these people are, but my dad one NFL player had a joint account with his girlfriend, so they go away to Jamaica for like a couple of weeks. They come back and half the money's gone, and she goes, well, we got in that fight before, so I withdrew half the money. So yeah, so and what do you do? It's a joint account, I mean, and some of these things are just some of these things are football related. All these things, it's kind of like it's a life lesson, having a shared account with a girlfriend's never a good idea.
No,
men, this is not non-football thing. If you have a girlfriend, don't have a shared checking account with her.
And same with the girlfriend. Protect yourself.
Yeah, protect yourself. Always protect yourself. Here, we give life lessons here. Arizona at Vegas. We touched base on this earlier. Vegas is a 5.5-point favorite. I really want to watch this game. I have no opinion. I know Amazement is going to take Arizona. I'm leaning towards that, but I really want to watch this game. I have no idea. Raiders. I have no idea how good the Raiders are.
There's a few clips I saw and bits and pieces I was able to catch. I don't know. I think they're pretty good.
Cincinnati at Dallas. Dallas is a 7-point dog at home. Of course, Dak Prescott's going to be out. Leaning towards Cincinnati. Denver Gator likes Cincinnati. Denver Gator, that was one of his picks, ruining my bets video, which you ought to check out. But Denver Gator picked that one as one of his. So if you watch this, spoiler alert. I mean, backup quarterback in Dallas.
Backup quarterback, Cincy. I got to go Cincy on this one. Jamar Chase will chew him up. Zeke's going to have to really own that game for Dallas to have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. Houston at Denver. Denver's a 10-point favorite. Believe it or not, Denver Gator thinks Houston's going to win by 40 points.
40?
No. I thought I said Saints were a 2.5-point dog at home. Did I mess that up?
Did you? I don't remember.
I put it down correctly. So if I misspoke, I apologize. I put it on our notes correctly. But Houston at right Denver. Denver is a 10-point favorite at home. I don't know if I would have them cover 10, but I do like them to win outright. I mean,
I think the coach knows he screwed up really bad. He's looking really bad. He's already put himself on the hot seat because they keep trying to re-explain his poor decision-making. I think he's going to trust his quarterback more in this one. And, I'd go with Denver. I don't know if I'd go with that much, but I do like Denver in that game.
I don't think there's a defensive tackle better, but we were talking groups, and they got Ed Oliver. They got another defensive tackle. It's not bad, but I would say the Bills' defensive line might be better than Kansas City's. But they don't have a defensive tackle because we were you brought up earlier. Chiefs have better defensive tackles, linebackers. I think it was safeties. I'm not 100% sure. But defensive tackle, we give to Kansas City. Defensive line, I don't know. The bottom line doesn't matter because they're going to play in a couple of weeks. But
that'll be fun.
But even if the Bills win in regular season, good luck against beating Kansas City in the playoffs, Buffalo. So I checked it out online. 30 million. Okay, all right. A little over. Let's see here. Eagles made 11. Okay. I remember him signing a 3-year, $21 million deal with the Eagles. So. But all right. We'll take your word for it. $41 million over the past 2 seasons. I thought he was making more than that, to be honest.
So, he's closer to $40 million.
All right. I mean, 40 million, 50 million, bottom line, Chase Daniel, hopefully is not one of those guys that's going to go broke. I don't see it.
I think he's a little smarter with that.
I really do. Chase Daniel's a very bright guy. I personally would love to see him go into coaching, but he could go into the TV booth. If you've seen the guy do interviews or talk to the media, very friendly, very likable.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely has a career on in television if he wants. I would love to see him go into coaching. A lot of backup quarterbacks have made some really good coaches over the years. So
I remember when he was at Kansas City, he had that swagger, that quarterback swagger. That's what always impressed me. He had confidence.
I always like Chase Daniel. I'm always going to like Chase Daniel.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want him to start against Kansas City and win. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, I would have hated that. I was like, keep the injured guy in. Get the injured guy.
I stand by my original thoughts on Cincinnati. They will fall off big after. I do. I believe that too.
No, he's been calling that.
But Dallas is overrated, missing Dak. Hard to take a team. That'll be exactly.
And it's a Jerry Jones general manager, so it's never going to work out.
Exactly. I've said this many times. Jimmy Johnson's more responsible than Jerry Jones for those Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And I mean, the proof's in the pudding. How many Super Bowls has he won? Technically one.
Well, in one thing, Jerry Jones was responsible. A very key thing he had in those Super Bowls. He signed the checks. Got the free salary cap.
He did. He signed those checks.
He spent the money.
He had no problem spending money. That by the way, if you ever watch the Hard Knocks special, like that building, their training camp is. I had a buddy of mine. They give. By the way, it's a smart business. They give tours of Dallas during the off season.
Yeah, my mother-in-law went to it.
Yeah, and apparently it's just awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's not cheap. I think it's like $20-$30 a person.
I've watched the game there. I've just never toured the stadium.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. In the end zones, they have some standing room only, and they have crow's nests like a sailing ship, and they have DJs up there, and they're in jumpsuits, matching jumpsuits, and they're playing music and dancing to get the crowd pumped up. You see it sometimes on TV. It's wild. Yeah,
I would love to see it.
It was a Dallas New Orleans game, and they had those two. They get into it. They have a good rivalry going.
I just remember I was down in Dallas when they were actually building Jerry World.
Oh yeah.
I had anyway. Long story short. But anyway, I was down there. That story must stick to. I had a great time down there. Dallas is a great town. I had a phenomenal time. But like when they were building it, it was so massive. Like with all the construction equipment, it was like several blocks were just like closed off because of all the construction equipment. It was just phenomenal. But
they didn't have that much room, so it's more of a vertical stadium. So the sight lines are kind of different. It seems just much more vertical than a spread out bowl,
really,
like Denver and Kansas City. Yeah, it's really unusual.
I'd love to see it. That's what I've been to over 300 Chiefs games. I've never been to an opposing stadium.
Really?
Never.
Gosh, I've been to New Mile High. I've been to
I would love
Dallas.
To see Mile High.
I've been to Kansas City. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
The only opposing stadium only other stadium I've ever been to, I've seen the Missouri Tigers play a couple times.
I've been there. Yeah.
That MIZZOU thing I thought was annoying as hell. For those of you who don't know, after every first down, one half of the stadium goes MIZ and the other half goes ZOU. And after the second quarter, I was like, I hope they don't get a single first down. This is so annoying. That's like I did not like it.
That's like me at Arrow. That's another Kansas City Chiefs first down.
Let's see here. The primetime game, Sunday Night Football, Chicago at Green Bay. Green Bay is a 10-point favorite. I would be shocked if Green Bay didn't win this game. I would feel good about them covering 10, but that's a big number.
And it's really odd. They never seem to play well at the beginning of the season. They seem to always start out slow.
It's weird.
Rodgers is working with new receivers. Man, I like Green Bay in the game. That spread, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I would love Green Bay money line, which would be a terrible number, by the way. You would have to bet Norman a leg to win anything.
Right.
But if you do like a Survivor Series, anything like that, then definitely go with Green Bay. But 10's a big number, man. 10's a real big number.
Yeah, today's NFL, that is.
And Monday Night Football, Tennessee at Buffalo. Buffalo's 9.5-point favorite. Amazement like Tennessee. God, I wouldn't touch this game. I like Buffalo to win.
I like Buffalo, but I've been saying it for a few years. I like how they're built.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great point. I mean, you got a good defense. I hate Josh Allen running the ball. I have no idea why you do so many design runs. Tennessee with losing Harold Landry in preseason, and I mean, this could be a disaster. This could be a game. Now, the way the Monday night games are staggered, this one's going to come on about an hour and 15 minutes before Minnesota at Philly. I'm really want to watch Minnesota and Philly. I have a feeling this game could be a shit show. Tennessee at Buffalo. That's kind of my opinion. That's my professional opinion. I'm going to call it a shit show.
Yeah, I like that.
Minnesota at Philly. Philly's a 2-point favorite. The over under is 50.5. I like the over on this game. I like the over. Minnesota did some good things against what I thought was going to be a good Packers defense. I like the over on this game. I would not. I wouldn't pick a winner. I mean, I'd probably go with Philly. But I mean, I honestly, I feel like I'm
coin toss.
Yeah, it is. It is. I like the over on this game.
Well, let me ask you, since you're the expert, what happened to Thielen? Because he had like nothing that first week.
I think they just went away from him. I don't know if he's just banged up or Jefferson's that good.
Jefferson
looked nearly unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really sure. This is a game I'm really, really looking forward to. So I have the Minnesota Green Bay on DVR. I was going to watch it, but because I had 200 on Green Bay, I was just frustrated. So I did the childish sulking thing and like, I'm not going to watch this. And so I apologize, but bottom line, I like the over on this game. I think this to me has shootout written all over.
Yeah, I could see that. Pretty evenly matched. The Tennessee Buffalo. If Buffalo gets up by a couple scores, there's no way Tannehill's bringing it back.
No, I agree. Yeah, completely. So like, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to watch like the first bit of Buffalo and Tennessee, and then I'll just flip, and then I honestly probably won't flip back. Once I flip over to Minnesota Philly, it's probably because I really don't think it's going to be a fun game. Don't get me wrong, as Chiefs fans, we'd love to see nothing more than Tennessee pulling upset. I mean, that would be great, and I think everybody else is sick of Bills Mafia too. So like Daniels more than Kyle Orton, who threw a fit when he actually had to start. I remember that.
When did he throw a fit? I don't remember that. He started for the Chiefs.
Yeah, he started for. He was
in our dark days.
There was a lot of questions. That was some weird stuff going on. Jimmy walked in and said, "I have to trade the best players on the team, rebuild it." Curry Jury led him and arrested.
Right, yeah, that's
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. People really thought that they lost their damn mind, if you remember it at the time.
But look what they got. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Was that before the NFL had to approve the trades?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, yeah. Seriously, it was just such a crazy trade.
Oh.
I remember at the time, I thought the Vikings did a great thing because they were just like one player away, and they kept on drafting running backs, and it didn't work out. So like, hey, we're going to trade for the best running back in the league. And in the 80s, you had to have a running back, and Minnesota didn't have one. So it looked like a no-brainer. And, well, it was for Dallas. But yeah, I remember at the time, I thought, and by the way, if you don't remember this, Herschel Walker's first game, he had like 150 yards rushing for the Vikings. It looked like a no-brainer, and Vikings kind of mismanaged him.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that's kind of our picks here, man. Check out my Dan Betts NFL video if you haven't already. By the way, all my social media links are in the description. Do like, subscribe, and share this stuff.
Hit the notification button. YouTube pays attention to that.
Yeah, it does. Cowboys are spiraling out of control before Dak injury. Their offense was putrid. Steelers in divisional matchup with better defense against the Bengals. Cowboys lucky to score 10. I kind of agree with you, man. I have a hard time seeing Dallas doing anything. They did not look good, even with Prescott in there. They got some offensive line injuries. They don't want to run the ball, which they should.
Right. They're paying Zeke all that money.
Yeah, and
he's got a fat contract.
Pollard, every time Pollard plays, he looks just as good.
Yeah,
he really does. So.
I don't get it.
Yeah, Dan's been. I always get blamed for being high on cocaine. I always get blamed on this. So I've been a mile high 20 years before.
Hey, we went to college. You know how it is.
The Vikings have been one player. Yeah, they really have. They really have. It's always one guy away. The only exception was that
close.
Oh God, that 98 Vikings team with Randy Moss's rookie year, the team that went 15-1.
Oh yeah,
you know which team I'm talking about. That was the only exception. I was so convinced they were going to win a Super Bowl. They looked unstoppable. Too. Oh yeah, they were unstoppable.
They had some good teams.
They did. Hey, Mike, before I wrap this up, any final words, man?
No, man, it's been fun as always. Chat's been great, man. Love you guys. It's always fun to talk to you guys. Another slate of just NFL wanted parody. So, man, these games, they make it tough.
They do make it tough.
But makes it fun.
They do make it tough, man. Yes, I'll never forget that. Guy hasn't missed a field goal in 2 years. He makes it. I'm telling you that I can't prove it, obviously, but he makes that field goal. They play Denver in the Super Bowl. They probably beat Denver by 10. They probably beat Denver by 10. They really do. It's such a shame. Such a shame. But on that note, don't forget, give me the thumbs up. Follow me on social media. All my links are listed below. Check out Dan Betts NFL. Even though I don't have the link, just go Dan Betts NFL and subscribe to that channel. And we'll see you guys next week.